Dear Black Swan Diary, the date is March 22nd, 2022. There's lots going on right now with the country of Ukraine and Russia. And now NATO is going to be meeting tomorrow in Brussels. So that'll be interesting. We'll be watching what is being said with all the leaders of the various NATO countries. I believe there is 30 countries involved with NATO, including the most recent addition, I believe it was about 2 years ago, North Macedonia, so smaller country. So it's kind of interesting. We'll see what they have to say. I don't think there's going to be a lot of new things specifically from the NATO leaders, other than more we need to stay together, we need to unite, we need to oppose what Russia is doing. That's pretty much the only thing that I could see happen tomorrow. Now, the question mark will be if President Zelensky gets a chance to speak to the entire NATO organization. If that happens, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Some things that I've been reading up on and watching videos on is the World Economic Forum. This keeps popping up again and again, and I'll be honest, I don't know very much about the World Economic Forum. There's only so many things that you can dive in, but what I do is I just make a note of it. So specifically in our country, our Prime Minister is a member of the World Economic Forum. That's a lot of people know about that. What I'm probably going to do a little bit more research is what is the agenda of the World Economic Forum with their leader. I don't know his first name, but his last name is Schwab. There seems to be a tie happening right now with all these countries getting involved with the World Economic Forum. I've heard people say there's a reset going on. I've heard them say it as well. I've heard people talk about a new world order. I've heard the idea that a lot of this stuff is going on because of population control. They want to bring down the population around the planet or across the planet. So that's kind of interesting. I just, like in Canada, it's bizarre because there is so much room in Canada. So the idea of population control seems very foreign here in Canada. But I know there's lots of talk, man, about resetting things, you know. I don't know resetting it to what or what time frame, but there's lots going on right now. There's lots of stuff going on with our government that feels like it's being just slipped under the radar, specifically Bill S-233. My sister mentioned it to me, and I looked it up, and it basically is, it's basically universal income. So everybody over the age of 17 gets $2,000 in Canada. I think there is a cutoff. If you make over $100,000, there's some, you have to give some of it back or who knows what. But basically, if you're 17 or older, you qualify, you get $2,000 a month. The problem that I see with that is if somebody is making $3,000 and you get $2,000 for doing absolutely nothing, what is stopping that person making $3,000 from just staying home? What's going to stop them? Then the question comes up, well, what kind of a society are you creating if people just stay home, they go on the metaverse, they watch TV, Netflix, whatever? Nothing wrong with watching Netflix. Every once in a while I'll binge in that. But if that's your motivation on a daily basis, I just wonder 10, 20 years from now, if you're getting money every single month, what will that society look like? So it's just an interesting deep dive on that topic. Like, there's lots going on, And I believe it's like on the second or third reading at the Senate, which means if it gets voted on and gets approved, that could start happening as well. COVID basically disappeared, really. Like, there are still people getting COVID in Canada, but basically in the news, COVID literally disappeared overnight, which is crazy because there was such a push for all these mandates and everything in Canada. And when the Emergencies Act was issued, there was a bunch of stuff going on in Ottawa with the Freedom Convoy, people getting their bank accounts frozen for supporting the convoy before it became illegal. And their accounts were being frozen for donations as low as $50, all this kind of stuff. Then it was going to get voted on by the Senate, and Trudeau just, for some reason, maybe got a phone call from the World Economic Forum, who knows, shut it down. Just said, I'm revoking it. No harm, no foul. Sorry about that. Actually, he didn't even apologize. He just said, we don't need it. 24 hours before, he said we needed it. Now we don't need it. Next day, literally 24 hours later, excuse me, Putin declares a couple of states in Ukraine as independent, recognizes them, starts rolling in the tanks, and then they just keep on trucking. So that's his freedom convoy. It's just bizarre, the timing of all this stuff. So there's lots of stuff going on under the radar, and that's why I created this YouTube channel, was to document what's going on and give a little bit of my thought processes, how I think as to what's going on, my opinions, all this kind of stuff, so that somebody can come back to this channel a year from now, 5 years from now, if YouTube even exists, and be able to watch this stuff and go, okay, this is what was happening in March 2022. This is the thoughts that were going on. Right now, it feels like we're on the brink of World War III. A lot of Western media is talking about going into Ukraine with either by issuing a no-fly zone, which Russia does not want, and says basically that's like World War III. And a lot of media is pushing for that, saying we need to do something. Ukraine is pushing for the idea of having a no-fly zone over top of their country. And on one hand, I can't blame them at all, because I think it would be ridiculous over our country to have another country bomb us and all this kind of stuff. Like, this is stuff that we can't even relate to here in Canada. It's so foreign because it's so far away. But if you imagine that happening to you, you'd probably want the same thing. So that's it for this video. Excuse me, I'm a little bit parched this morning. But I want to continue this by, whether that means every few days, making a diary as to what's happening and all this kind of stuff. And if you like this type of content, feel free to comment in the video, and then also subscribe to this channel, and then let me know if there's a topic or a video that you would want me to talk about. It's very important. And I just want to say thanks to all the subscribers right now. This channel is growing. In the last week, I think we hit 70 subscribers, which is fantastic. So I really appreciate that. Continue to subscribe, pass the word along. I know I present a lot of theories, but really the majority of my reading comes from the book of Revelation. So there's lots of debate going on if the United States, Canada even exists in the Bible. There's lots of debate on whether or not Russia even exists in the Bible, China even exists in Revelation, I should say. So my thought processes is to basically read every once in a while from the book of Revelations and then try and interpret it into today's world. That's it. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in another video. Bye for now.